Okay, guys, just wanted to let everyone know that this Zoom meeting for today is being recorded. Once again, my name is Julius Endo, and amongst others, and very patriotic people of color have organized themselves to develop a business that can benefit everyone. And like we said, lifetime dividends into our lives, into our next generation and the next generation to follow. So I think this is what we actually need at this time. And we're pushing this philosophy or agenda or dreams forward. And a lot has been written in terms of plan on how we want to move forward or operate. And today we'll be presenting the shareholders agreement, which normally in a standard organization, this is read as a kind of terms and condition for joining any corporation or any business or any any relationship that people come together. So because it's still in its founding stage, we want to present it amongst ourselves. So we get some understanding. I may not be the best, everything is, we're trying to grow. So we try to find in ideas to put together. So can you guys hear me, or am I getting a voice behind, like someone is not hearing me? Hello, is everything okay?
We can hear you, Julius.
Okay. Very good, very good. Okay. So the shareholder agreement, as you can see, the content will be like that. And this is all work that is deduced from Corporations Canada. It wasn't created by me from Sky. It's just a kind of research in the Canada's corporation world. And since we're in Canada, we have to go by the governing policy in place. And so this is of the highest standard that we are implementing amongst ourselves. There couldn't be any better way to present it than this, or to have any other shareholders agreement, no matter whatever the corporation you may think of, whether it's General Electric, whichever organization that is so huge, so big, this is what they rely on. And we are taking up on this also to put that amongst ourselves so that it can help us better organize our minds, ourselves, our philosophy, our understanding, and the way forward for everyone, because it's not somebody's making. It is the founders of the corporations of Canada that have put this in place. I'm just doing the research and bringing it to our people as we plan to move forward. So you can see here, there's always a background, and there's also always an interpretation of some terms and terminology, and then there's a shareholder agreement, why we come into this business, and your role and the corporation's role. It's not my role, it's not your role, the individual shareholders' role, and the corporation itself, which is, maybe we're using it tentatively, ABC, for now, to make it easy for everyone until but we have already incorporated, just so we know, and the incorporated name, we cannot keep it behind. We try to use ABC for corporation. It's all used among, if you go to Corporations Canada, ABC corporation is so much used that we cannot hang on that. We have to deduce another name to befit us. So we choose AFCA, which is AFCA. We'll come to that later on as we go ahead. Because initially we wanted a majority to be of African origin and the Caribbean. So we found that way easier to put it that way. But remember, to be to avoid any exclusion or discrimination, because it's going to be a public operation. We cannot exclude anyone. But now we are just presenting amongst ourselves because we get familiar with each other, and then the others can come when we have finished the building. So that's what ABC has come to. So there are bylaws and articles already written, and all of that need to be read by each and every one. So when we have time, maybe as people, somebody's audio is on. If that's your audio and in a family setting, please mute, because this presentation is being recorded, and other people who are not participating would like to enjoy it in a very clean format. So thank you, guys. And then there's the warranties, which is about the role of ABC Corporation. So we're calling it ABC for today, but the incorporated name is AFCA. But we'll continue to, because we're already familiar with ABC, we'll continue to speak of ABC. And then ABC will have to guarantee to the people that the corporation is legally binding, and that it abides to every rule of corporation, and the subscriber or the shareholder, on the other hand, will also provide a warranty on her own self that he or she has a right and has all the requirement that is necessary to operate or to run a business or to be a part of a business in Canada. You know, in Canada, some people don't have right to work and those kind of things if they don't have their SIN, and all of those things. When you are engaging, you know that you are also warranting on your own on your own accord, because ABC provides the entrance, and you come in with all the rights that you have, believing, confirming that you have the ultimate right in Canada to engage in business. So there will be capital requirements of the corporation. Let me say management of the corporation. So we'll be seeing that the preemptive rights, restriction and the transfer or other disposal of interests, and debt and incapacity of shareholders, dispute resolution, and there'll be a shotgun provision, the right to first refusal, valuations, dividends. So we're going to look all of that until we reach on the general provisions of the agreement, of the shareholders agreement. So that's what we'll be going through today. I thought it's very important. A lot of people tell me, oh, don't bring this news to the public or this and that. I think that the people who are going, the shareholders need to know. It's hard to assemble everyone right now, but over time, as we move forward, everyone should be able to know. And this video will be a good material for people to, listen and follow up. So the background, what does it entail? Yes, so I'll just be reading it because I couldn't read the whole document. First of all, I want to show you, it's a 10-page document of about 4,302 characters for the entire full document. And it starts with an anonymous agreement or shareholder agreement made by, you have to put the date and time. So it goes right down until the end where you provide your concern. You sign consent to be a part of that, and that is your private document. Anyone who is a shareholder can have that as an agreement between the corporation and the shareholder, who could be you or me or anyone. Okay, so we'll go back to business here. So, sorry. Okay, good. So, ABC Corporation is incorporated in Ontario. That's just the background. It's starting here in Ontario and specifically Toronto. And anyone can be a shareholder and enter into a written agreement. So you cannot be a shareholder without signing this agreement. And that's how we're going to be protecting ourselves, because Canada is a very highly legal environment, and this is business, this is money. And that's how it's going to be. It is not anybody's standard. This is a standard of Corporations Canada. So the shareholder agreement restricts the power of the board of directors to manage the business of the corporation and confer certain powers to the shareholders. So we, the shareholders, will have the ultimate power to sit down and, as it is, a shareholders agreement means that you are restricting the right of a director or a board to fully operate, to implement what policy, to make any changes, to find money for the business. So the shareholders restrict that right from the board of directors. And that is what this agreement entails in the background. So all parties must execute this agreement to give it effective power. So the shareholder, on the one hand, must execute this by reading and signing this agreement, and the corporation too must also provide this agreement to the shareholder. So that's how it's going to look like. So that's just the background. I believe that this will be good for everyone, especially for us. I don't want to be calling that, So for the Black community. So the next part will be the interpretation. These are just a definition of some of the terms that we need to start getting ourselves familiar with, and when we speak in the business environment, and because it's going to be a standard business environment, because it entails huge amount of investment, and it is even sometimes like you are running a country. So it is good that people get to understand some terminology. So the article of the corporation in this agreement, in what I just showed there, the 10 pages agreement, will mean the corporation's article of incorporation. That is mostly as incorporated in Corporations Canada. So it is always as is. So that's the article of incorporation. And then the board here means the board of directors of the corporation. Anytime that you read, excuse me, please, this thing is itching a little bit. So the board of director, the board here will mean board of directors of the corporation. So most of the time in that article, in this article, instead of writing board of directors, we'll just read board. So, and then business days mean a day other than Saturday and Sunday. That's a general principle all around the world. It's not new for ABC, and ABC also is implementing that business day of work. And the bylaws means the bylaws of the corporation as of the date of this agreement, and as may be amended from time to time. So the bylaws has also, been written, and it's not completed in a way. It's not final, but I always open the floor that people should review it, add in more things they think is necessary as a bylaw, or even in the article of the corporation. But I'm guaranteeing that this was all deducted from Corporations Canada. So everything is highly standardized. It wasn't, we're not missing any word with any vocabulary. We are using it in the professional domain as it is. So that's how it's going to look like. So because the only way to raise funds will be by selling shares, ABC has a legal right to sell shares. It's not new in Corporations Canada. So fair market value means the fair market value as determined by this agreement. So from year to year, or year in, year out, the board of directors or the shareholders as well will decide what is the new share value of the shares that we want to sell at any time. Today, we have just started as maybe as general, as easy as, we just said 1,000 a share, but as 1,000 comes in, the share may no longer be $1,000 because it's increasing, it's falling, or depending on the market situation at any time, any given time. So the shares will be reevaluated, so from time to time. And then the financial statement means the financial statement of the corporation prepared in accordance with general accepted accounting principles. So ABC is not going to be negligibly run. It's going to apply all accounting principles like in the general ledger money entry. So this is to give it the legal and the high standard that that they will need to operate without any corruption. So anyone who will play in a financial role will do it in a professional manner, like a chartered professional accountant. So there will be auditing from time to time, whether it's quarterly or whether it's half a year or maybe annually, so that, and everything goes to the bank. If it's a check, there's a check to be written. If it's a deposit, it's deposited in the bank. If there's a withdrawal, according to the principles of corporate accounting principles. Okay, good. Party here, or parties, mean all the shareholders and the corporation. So whether you're a shareholder or you're a corporate or the corporation itself, they're all parties working together. So share or shares, as it means, all of the share or shares in the capital of the corporation. So how it's gonna be? The shares will mean the capital, all the money generated, or even a single share. And remember, shares are always in the form of money value. So a shareholder means any one of the shareholders who is or later become a shareholder in the corporation. So it will not be good that I continue to speak without giving a pause. I think everything is well defined in terms of the interpretation of some terminologies in this agreement, in the shareholders agreement. At this point, anyone has anything to say? We've just come through the background. There was an outline of what the shareholder entails. Anybody has anything that they may want to ask now, or maybe make a comment? So I'll just give 1 or 2 minutes, and you can unmute and maybe throw a comment, or maybe ask a very quick question, or maybe give a handshake or a thumbs up, anyone, or a thumbs down. Thank you. I got a thumbs up from someone there. I think that's Abby. Any comments? If no comments, you can throw a like, a thumbs up. You can even throw a message on our chat board, on our chat, Zoom chat. Okay. I assume all is fine, and we'll continue to go to the next step. Again, I want to greet everyone who is in this meeting, and it says, word of the mouth, because you are here today, somebody is going to know, and the other person is going to know. So that is networking. So thank you guys for joining again. So shareholder agreement itself. So what is it all about? I said, it is just a restriction or an agreement where the board of the shareholders restrict the rights or the supervisory right or management rights of the board of directors or of the directors. So I take it again, I'll just read what we see here. It restricts the board of directors' power to manage and supervise the corporation. Board of directors' power is restricted to effect shareholders' objectives, because shareholders have an objectives. We have multiples of objectives, and whoever is coming, this particular corporation is about elevating Africans. I'm not going to keep that word down, and or the Black people community. And typically, we have talked about, initially we have talked about maybe bringing African products to the limelight. So those are one of the objectives. It doesn't mean we're not limited by that, but we see, we find that's why we're presenting this, so that we can have more of the shareholders be the Black people themselves or the people of color, to take control of this or be the majority to perpetrate this objective. So board of directors' powers are transferred to shareholders. So, and the fact that the shareholders acknowledges to bear the burden of the board of directors, so it means that they also will be responsible to bear any obligations and liabilities that the board of directors would have been facing. And that will be broken down again as we go below. So it means typically, if the board of directors think that, oh, we need more maybe money or more financing to do a particular project, this is not the burden of the shareholder of the board of directors. It is the burden of the obligations of the shareholders. So this is the kind of agreement that every corporation outside here is implementing. And this is what ABC will be implementing as well. So bylaws and articles. As I said, the bylaws and articles are all written, and ABC is always open because this is the initial phase. We're looking for people to come up, try to review it together again, chipping ideas, whatever they think it would be nice for the community. But I can say, following the objectives of ABC, the bylaws and articles have been well written. And over time, those are the parts of, those are the things that are involved in the, I call it the background, that you have to, every shareholder will have to warrant that they understand what is going on, and the corporations ABC will also warrant that they own they have the rights and the corporate right or the legal right to run ABC as a corporation. So if it's not guaranteed, I don't see why people want to invest in ABC. So again, ABC has been incorporated, and the bank account is in process. And once that is released by the end of this week, we will move into the other phase of, getting ourselves registered and start to put in our shares. And this is a lifetime thing, as I can say. I just feel that some of us, we have chosen this time to sacrifice for the community, to build the community, and I think that people should embrace it. It's not going to be like that through one's life, to put that moment to say, okay, now I'm going to hone this business. I'm going to champion this thing, because we only talk and then we do not champion it. Then it never happens. I can hear this cry coming out from every people of color that, oh, they need to be like the Chinese people. They need to be like the Indians. They need to be like the Italians. They need to be like any other community. So this is our time. And it has not come in an easy form. It has come in a time that we decide that we're going to put a plan in place, put the objectives that we want to do, and then bring it to our people and work together as a people. So that's what it is. So I'll just read the bylaws. The bylaws and articles will be read. That's how it is. So we can only read it and get to understand it. Amendments must be agreed upon by all or a majority of shareholders. So there is this, because it is a community thing, and because the future may not have everyone always being together, we have just added the word majority. We can always reflect on that. Yeah. So warranties, as I was talking about, which is an item in the outline. So ABC warrants that it has the necessary corporate power and authority to enter into this agreement and perform its obligation. So ABC has the rights, it has a corporate power. Once you are taking that agreement, it means that you are saying that ABC has the obligation to perform as required in the business. And then the shareholder, on the other hand, as you and me, and the orders to be and the orders to come, each shareholder warrants that he or she is not prevented by any reason of law or any other contractual agreement from entering into this agreement. There are times that some things are, some people are bounded by something, it's up to you, but that is the warranty that ABC is providing. So ABC and its shareholders, each will have to provide a warranty as per Corporations Canada law to engage. So that's what we are releasing for everyone to get to know. So again, I'll give 1 minute. If anyone has anything to say, a comment, a question, a thumbs up, a clap, or whatever. Even a like or a dislike, it's okay. So we can always see like, hey, there's something that we need to do, more needs to be achieved, you know. ABC is calling on people. At the end of this presentation, at the bottom, there is the corporation's email where people can, this is a time to volunteer. Everything that we're doing here is volunteering. There's no payment for all of this research. We saw because there's a desire to build at this time and to bring the people together. After all, someday we will have to die, but this is what we left behind. This will only be our legacy. So anybody has anything to say? 1 minute or two. Yeah. I'll be so glad to see reactions. Okay, we assume everything is okay. That silence means that everybody understands and everybody is abiding, or maybe people will ask questions later on, or maybe we'll contact so that we can still share, you know, information in the background. So we'll move to the next item. So capital requirements of ABC Corporation. There's no corporation without the need for capital. And the magnitude and that we want to operate is not like you are selling peanuts anymore. We want to do business that will give us the economic power that we so desire, that we dream of. And so ABC and any other corporation, there is always a capital requirement need. So I'll just read this for us. If the corporation requires additional funds to meet the corporation's obligation, as to achieve the purpose for which the corporation was incorporated. So if this at any time, after we start to operate, even as we start from today going on, of course, we need the capital. And we have made it in a way that anyone without too much stress can build into ABC Corporation, and as a result, live with a lifetime dividends. We don't want to make it like Canada is so easy to stay in Canada. The last meeting that we had, the last Zoom, presented a lot or outlined a lot of stuff, how to engage and know yourself. You know, you don't want to come and, oh, I want to buy for $100,000. Oh, I want to put $1 million. You know, we're not interested in that. That is why nothing has been talked of money since the first day we start. We only decided to be building all the corners, every foundation that is required to build ABC into a gigantic business. And so that is how we're going to develop on. So the shareholders will, at the request of the board of directors and on a pro rata basis, provide the corporation with an interest-free shareholders loan. So we said we wanted to start this business so that it's stress-free and with a limited risk. And we agreed that we're not going to borrow any money from the bank right now. if it's not necessary. And so ABC will rely mostly on its own shareholders to build the business, so that we don't have to, the very profit that we make that we need to share among ourselves, we are taking it to pay interest loans in the bank. I've seen this community from time to time. We donate to programs and things like that. If you don't want to be a part of ABC, you can just donate to ABC, like, okay, ABC, take and move forward. It's also, an obligation. But we want everybody to benefit from ABC. And that's why there's a structure, the share structure, and that is simplified, that anyone can engage without stressing himself or his family or her family, and be a part of a business that is succeeding. But if less than all of the shareholders contribute to the loan, the shareholders who contribute to the loan will be entitled to interest at a reasonable commercial rate. So the board of directors come back to us, they say, hey guys, maybe we need some more capital, we need some funds to run this particular area in the business or for in this operation. And it is thrown to all shareholders, and then we look at that, and if all the shareholders accept to distribute this amount of money and this amount of fund requirement, and everybody pays a portion of that, which is not going to always be big, it's going to always be something affordable, and then this is the corporation's money, we only share our dividends. But if some faction says, okay, no, we're not contributing, or I don't have, or this and that, and then some faction do that, then it is, but right, that they get some interest on the loan they provide to the corporation. But if everybody takes a portion or agrees into that, then that is how the corporations are running in the world, in Canada, and ABC will run in the same manner. So again, we come to the portion, the preemptive rights, and I'll just read for here, and then we can get to explain, and then maybe it's always good. This is in accordance with limitations on the shareholders, on the shares offered or issued by ABC. So, as we said, ABC will be offering shares, and but there are going to be some limitations. Some people want to buy shares. Okay, they want to sell their shares and use the money for other things, and there are going to be some, limitation on how that is executed, or maybe at the same price to all class levels. So, this is in what is termed as, because we have in ABC, we have 3 classes of shares. There's A class, a B class, and there's a C class. Let's say someone in class C or class A wants to sell their share, or maybe dispose of the share. The class from which that, because to make it fair and to make it not people grabbing shares everywhere and giving opportunity to everyone, if some shareholder in, let's say, class C is selling the shares, then it will only be first advertised at the level of class C over a specific time frame, and if that is not that is not grabbed off, then they can move it to class B. There's a flow of how things move. And if it's to class B, there is someone that wants it, or doesn't want. There are different execution method of executing. So let me just read. So there's always the first offer, the second offer, the third offer, and the final offer. So that's how it's going to proceed. So once it's out there on class A does not take it from within that rank, it's moved to class B, and as it says, it's prorated at all times. So if the share has reevaluated, it will be reevaluated from when it was in class A, and it will be sold in class B at a prorated rate. So taking the changes that has occurred, and it can be the same. There can be no favorable offer to another class than to another class, compared to another class. So if it's, let's say, let me just use figure. Let's say it's 1,000 at class A, then it should be 1,000 as class B and class C. So if they don't take it as class A, then class B will take it at the same rate. But if it has evaluated, then they will prorate that to bring it to the at the current rate. So the various offers shall be in writing as well specified. So it shall be in writing and it shall be specified. And this specificity will include the date, the terms that are binding in that share, and also the closing date of the share. So that's what we're talking about. And shares shall not be issued unless the subscriber accepts to be bound by this agreement. So if someone is coming to buy shares, or ABC is issuing a share to you, you have to sign this agreement. That's what we're talking about, bind or bound to this agreement. So you must accept this agreement. In every walks of life, in any organization, there are some, some SOPs that you have to agree upon, some standards, that you agree that this is how you're gonna, operate within this organ. You're gonna follow the rules and regulations and keep into those terms. So shareholders shall have no preemptive rights of the shares to be issued for consideration other than money or dividends. So every share, whether you are selling it or whatever, it can never be of any other item. It can only be money, or maybe we pay dividends for. So you can't come and you're asking for gold. You can't come, you're asking for the property when you're selling your shares. No, you can only ask for your share amount of money or the dividends that you need. So it's not going to be in terms of properties or any other thing. It can only be money or dividends. These are the standards for which all corporations around the world that are doing successful business are applying. ABC will implement the same strategy. I'll still stop here again for a while, and we'll give ourselves 1 minute if there's any comment or any question, or if anybody has something to say. Okay, I believe all is going well. So we have to continue with the presentation so that people can get back to what they are doing and other things, and we share to those who are unable to attend. So when it comes to shareholder business, there's always a restriction. So this is not new. ABC, it says we're copying from other organizations, and you have to copy. Some people say, oh, Chinese are copying, other people are copying. We have to copy, what do we copy? We copy what the people are doing, the kind of practices they're using in business. We're gonna copy that as well. And we're gonna do the same in our own unique way. So I just read here. So restrictions to transfer or other disposal of interest. So you may get a share, but you want to dispose of it, you want to transfer to someone. So shareholders will not agree to directly or indirectly sell, assign, transfer, or give pledge or dispose of, or in any other way, encumber any share or any interest in any share, and will not create any security interest except in accordance with the express provision of this agreement. So nobody can, or no shareholder can on his own rights do otherwise. Whether you're selling a share, you will have to be organized in an organized form according to this ABC's agreement. ABC will sell the share for you, and to anyone that is interested in buying, we assign it to someone as indicated, and it's not any individual or any shareholder's responsibility. Okay. So in the case of death or incapacity of a shareholder, how is that actioned? So this is also an important clause, and it's very lengthy here, and it'll be something that I'll call on the shareholder to read, because this, as I said, this is a corporation's confidential document, and should not be presented in the public places. But because we are just kickstarting, we're trying to break it down a little bit lighter for every shareholder that is existing right now, or a shareholder to be, or a shareholder that will be coming in the future. So what is that provision? The provision for debts. Yeah, so it's a long provision as well, and it's telling us about what happens when a shareholder dies, especially a shareholder who is performing my board of directors function. And in a nutshell, the shares will be sold, and in accordance with the provision of this article. So as you share agreement, as the shareholders sign this agreement, as they buy their shares to engage in ABC business, which is for all, which is public to us, you know that there's a term that we need to read about that. So the details in the agreement, you can always read them, as I said. So you can read those details in the agreement. It's too lengthy for now, but that's what will be. Most specifically, the items will be sold, and at the current or fair share of the market value. So that is how corporations operate. Yeah, and then dispute and resolution. There's always a dispute, and right now, even in your homes, between your kids. So we cannot say that ABC will flow without any dispute in the future. Even right now in people's mind, right as we talk, there's this dispute. So what would that entail, and how shall we resolve any dispute that may accrue or that may come up? And remember, it's a corporations, it's not a contingent. For those of us who are from Cameroon, maybe it's not from the cultural groups, how we run it, and it's a lot of things are minimized. But this is a legal document that will be binding, and so it will follow all legal procedures, but not too quickly, but according to the corporation's way of resolving dispute. So if there's a dispute, it will start with the shareholders to find a solution on that. And if the shareholders who opt to resolve the crisis or the dispute, if they're unable, then there will be a mediation. We can have a legal mediation officer that that have the statutory right to resolve to mediate into the dispute. And if that is not satisfactory, we will find a binding and a final arbitration officer or embodiment that will resolve that problem. And if there is no way to still resolve that at that level, then the judge will have to come in, and then maybe things will go into judgment, and that will be in accordance with Ontario law and the law of Canada. So this is straightforward, and that is how the corporations are running. So we know this. So I'll just read this again. In the event a dispute arises between two or more shareholders, the shareholders will attempt to resolve the dispute through friendly consultation. If the dispute is not resolved within a reasonable period, then any or all outstanding issues may be submitted to mediation in accordance with any statutory rule of mediation. And it continues to arbitration and to the court of law. So this is what it entails in resolving business dispute. for people, shareholders who have come together to run a business. So in a nutshell, that's what it's going to look like. If there's anyone that has any question or have a comment to throw out, or have maybe just want to throw a like or a dislike, a thumbs up, you can do that. Yes, Rita, I can see your hands up, and we want to throw a comment or ask a question, and this is very good.
Okay, thank you so much for all of this work that you're putting together. I think thank you is a little word just to express that this is so much work going on here. So my little clarification I want to get is how the shares are classified. You've talked about A, B, and C. I would like you to throw more light on.
Okay. This was presented last in the last presentation on the shares and share classes, and but still, because a question comes up, I'm gonna expressly define that again. And if I could get that in my document here, let me see. But anyway, normally in a corporation, there are 3 classes or maybe 2, but ABC decided to go with the 3-class share, and to give it a level of operation that will give it that flexibility to run the organization without too much noise. So that's what they call the owners class, and there's a class B, that is, which will be like fall on what they call individuals with significant role to play in the corporate, significant decisions, individuals with significant power in terms of decision making and in terms of running the operations. And they say class C, which should be maybe just, and they can participate in distribution, you know. So those kind of individuals, the distribution here means that if this corporation needs someone to run like a customer service solely, then someone who is an individual with a significant level of I think I need to get to that one, significant level of decision making can maybe be a part of that kind of distribution. Maybe somebody to run an IT department, maybe somebody to run the supply chain, maybe somebody to run the transportation, maybe someone to run the different operational levels in the organization, maybe someone to be on the legal part who is championing the legal activity of the corporation, someone, you know, that when a corporation has started, as I said, it's like a full country, and there are a lot of different departments to be handled, and we call that distribution. And whether it's running a store, whether it's running purchasing, whether it's running whatever, whether it's banking, whether it's doing whether it's payroll, whether it's whatever. So those individuals with significant authority, they can play this role. They can join the board of directors to play this role and of distribution in a respectable manner. And class C, these are people who just want to buy their shares and stay off the activity of the organization without, they just wait on their dividends. And in a nutshell, class C are the first people, the first level, first shareholder level to receive dividends. And when they have finished paying, when the corporation has finished paying level C or class C shareholders, then they'll go to class B and pay all of their dividends. After that, then they can come down to class A share to see if there's still any profit still left, but they receive their interest or their dividend the last. I think when we sit down again to read what is entailed in that article of corporations, which the class shares a portion of it, we can get to understand it deeply. And no one that like Class C does not claim ownership to the properties at the end of if this corporation becomes bankrupt or I mean it's seasoned, but we're never gonna see a corporation ending easily. It takes some time, and maybe it's gone past all of us. We don't know how it's gonna look like. And Class B as well does not claim ownership to the properties as well. And Class A, in case the corporation is coming to an end, as we see, they may have the properties of the corporation because they always share the dividends last. So this is the standard of which the corporation owns. And if you look at the level of buying the shares, so you can see if you buy a share of a particular significant level and you want some distribution, you can speak with the corporation, and the corporation will be able to know what to allocate and how to allocate to you. Does that make sense?
Thank you so much, and I'm sorry to have brought us back.
No, it's okay. You know, at least it gave us a chance to refresh, right? Yeah. So anyone has any other thing to say, comment, or? And then thank you, Rita. At least it was good to come up. You know, it's good that it's like a dialogue we're discussing. You know, sometimes it looks like very bad when only one person is talking. So that was very good. That just increased my happiness. At least I was able to answer a question. So any other comments or ideas, a thumbs up, a handshake? Okay, we're moving. I believe some people are taking down, writing questions, and you can either throw them in the forum or send them as an email, or maybe call to ask any way that you want to attend to. So in corporations, in the business corporation, there's what they call the shotguns provision, and we are not going to avoid that. When we hear gun, is not actually a gun to shoot and kill somebody. This is a gun that you know, enforces some kind of agreement. So the shotgun provision in itself is just initiating a forced buy or sell agreement in case if a shareholder, you know, have a dispute, and especially we're talking here of material dispute. And then this material dispute can be like of anything. Maybe it's a matter in which the affairs of the corporations are being conducted. That's a material dispute. Some people may not like the way the corporation is being, you know, managed, or you know, and they are feeling like, oh no, something is not going on right here, and this and that. Okay, or it could be a business in which the corporation should engage in. As I said, the corporation only runs the objectives of the shareholders, right? The board of directors are only there that are elected to be there. They run by the shareholders' objective. So there could be a material dispute, as I said, maybe the way the affairs of the corporation are being run, maybe the kind of business that the ABC is engaging in. Maybe some people want to run a university, and other people are thinking that, oh no, ABC was not meant for running a university. It was meant to run maybe a buy and sell them, maybe to run a warehouse, maybe it was meant to run a transportation, maybe it was meant to run a grocery store. All kind, maybe it was an online, maybe all kinds of stuff. So there could be a disagreement on that. So it could be any other matter where the disagreement is of such a nature that is likely to, you know, prejudice the operation or probability and profitability of the organization. So some people who are disputing, maybe they are thinking that this area in which the company is running, this, you know, the affairs are not being run very well. You always hear that, maybe because they are worried that it could affect the profitability of a company. Maybe a company is running smoothly well now on one particular business, and some people are saying that, hey, the company should start investing on real estate, and maybe it's not just time. So there can be that kind of dispute. Or maybe some people, ABC is thinking of quality, and some people are maybe they want to like bring down, like bringing up other kinds of ways of doing it, so they become a dispute. And how to resolve that would be what they call the shotguns provision. That's initiating a forced buy or sell agreement. So once that there's a long description in the article of incorporation, and I just hope that as you share, as you subscribe for your shareholders agreement or for your shares, take some time to read the shotguns provision. It's all detailed out here, so you can read it. I think I said these are confidential document of the corporations, and we are all part of it. For now, we're presenting it. In the future, it just requires someone to request, especially when they are subscribing and they have it in their hand, they can read it and sign to agree or to commit as the ABC Corporation will want. So it's part of that. Okay, sorry, I just lost my way here with all kinds of stuff. Where are we? Oh, just a moment, please. That did I just someone knock me out? Oh, oh. Okay. So what? Just a moment, please. So we're lost here, like something is off.
I'm going to stay.
Where's my Zoom? What? Can you guys still hear me? Something is going on wrong. Anyone hearing me? Please just indicate.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, then my page was on Microsoft Edge and I cannot find it. Oh my gosh. Oh, what is going on? Yeah. Can you see what's going on? No. I just lost my way on my material.
Probably you have so many windows open, but
Yeah,
we
yeah,
still
yeah.
we still can see you, and then the Microsoft page is visible.
Hey, even my Word document all disappeared. Did somebody hack this computer? Okay, I just, since you can hear me and it was on share my screen and I noticed, so I'll just bring back another page of that and continue with the presentation. So over here. So can you guys see the screen?
Yeah.
Are you
Yes,
able to, you can see the screen?
Yeah, I can see your screen.
Okay, then that's fine. Yeah. I don't know where that, okay, it was still here, that's fine. Okay, good. So now I have two windows that came up. Okay, good. So so there's what they call the rights of refusal, which is also part of that outline. A rights of first refusal, and it's what comes under the what they call first offer or offer one, offer two, and then third party offer. So I'll just read this line and I'll call us on where this is coming from. So shareholders are prohibited from selling, transferring, and otherwise disposing of their shares or any interest in their shareholders. So there is there's a provision that, and this is also part of the limitations that limitation on rights of the rights and restriction in the shareholders agreement, and it's just about telling us if you were to liberate or if you were to dispose of your shares, maybe somebody is getting old and there's nobody to take off a share or something like that, I want to sell. So you can only do that through the corporation. So only the corporation has the sole right to do that kind of transaction, because there's a shareholders agreement to be signed to avoid any legal obligations that may impact ABC. So the offer one here, I'm going to bring it up. I wanted to bring this one up to everyone. So what does it stand to mean, offer one? So, let's say a shareholder of Class A wanted to sell his or her share, then that is what is called offer one. The very first time that is announced that the share is to be sold, that is the first offer. That's offer one. And if no one, let's say the share remains after one or offer one or offer or the or are offered, offer one and offered to all the shareholders on an equal basis. Offer two, let me just put it this way, let me explain it gradually. So when the share is brought up to be, when shares are offered, that is for the very first time, this is called offer one. And if these shares are not being purchased by that same class that offers the shares, and it's moved to another class, that is called offer two. And there's no more favoritism or more favor in terms of price than the other level. So what was offered at level A would be the same at level B. And even if it's given to a third party that is off the organization, the offer remains the same, but it will be prorated to the current value of the share. So that's just what this provision is talking about. So I'll go back to our presentation, unless, but it needs a detailed reading to get the devil in the details. Okay, so now we move to valuation. Valuation is about the share value at any given time. So the fair market value of the shares will be set by the shareholders on an annual basis. So the shareholders will be observing the business and, okay, oh, these shares are no longer, like we see in the current market, what is happening even in the IPO, in the stock market. Shares, they can reevaluate, they can fall, they can increase. So this will be done on an annual basis and will be communicated by way of a shareholders resolution declaring that the shareholders agree that the fair market value of each class and series is a specific amount. So they will give us the amount annually for any given share that is to be sold. So I think that's mostly that's what is entailed in the valuation. So we'll look at dividends, conflict of opportunities and non-competition, solicitation, notice of this agreement on shares certificate. That one, all of this can be read. And dividends, again, I think. I beg your pardon? Is someone talking to me? Okay.
No, I'm sorry.
Okay, dividends. So subject to the corporate law, or what we call solvency, requires that, requirements, and to the extent permitted by law and offer payment, and after payment of any shareholders loan, and after establishing sufficient reserves for normal operations of the corporation's business activities and debt serving requirements, all of the corporation's profit will be distributed by way of dividends. So when the board of directors maybe announce that the company has made some profit and all of, if we took some debts, if we had some debts that we took to run the business, if we had some interest that we had to pay, because business is, it's transactional, right? There's a lot of expenses, and when all of those expenses are accounted for, and then the shareholder announces the profit, and that is what is shared as dividends to the shareholders. So that is how dividends are shared. For instance, we just spoke about capitalization, how to raise capital or fund. We said, well, if the board of directors announce that they need some funding for running maybe a particular operations, and everyone participates, every shareholder participates in raising that fund, then nobody owes anybody any debt. They can only be paid back with the principal to those individuals. And then, but we're saying that if a portion of the shareholders are the ones that contributed this money, then they, by all rights, should be given reasonable interest as of any market value at any time. And in case of profit, those kind of debts needs to be paid out before we can get to share the leftover profits to all shareholders. And this is the standard by which any corporation does run business. So we talked about conflict of opportunities and non-competition. So these are all just terms and conditions that you are engaging in, that you have no intention to break split and to run and open another ABC corporation somewhere and doing the same kind of stuff. Those are all, terms and agreement, and all part of that, which is non-solicitation, which everyone is signing to. Any business that you are working right now, you always sign this non-solicitation, that you agree not to engage in any other thing, maybe until after 2 years, maybe after 1 year. So we have been seeing that in our daily life as we sign new contracts to work for different corporations. So all ABC runs the same standards. And the notice of this agreement and share certificate, as we said. So any and all share certificates issued by the corporation will be subscribed on them the following notice, or a notice in substantially the following form. So all the shares that will be offered out there or issued out must carry this agreement terms here, that the shares represented by this certificate are subject to the provisions of an unanimous agreement, which you saw at the background at the very start, made of this day, of this day of this year, and we're abiding by that provision. So, and which restricts the right to sell and transfer or encumber any share in the corporation, including the shares requested by this certificate. Notice of the said agreement is hereby given. A copy of the said agreement may be obtained by sending a written request to the board of directors for the corporation. So at any time that a share is going to be issued as a certificate, you have that certificate that you sold, you bought the share, and it can be transferred to you in the terms of money. So that is how every organization is running. ABC will be the same like any other organization. So at this level, is there anybody want to make a comment, ask a question, or something that was not clear? Then we can actually take time to read it.
I have a little question.
Okay, is that Rita?
Or maybe,
Abby?
Yes, it's Rita.
Okay, Rita, yeah.
Yeah, it's the shareholder selling stuff is a little bit complicated for me, and I've never been in a company situation anymore. So if somebody has their shares and they want to sell, right?
Yeah.
And it stipulates that it's a company that has to sell it.
Yes.
Okay. So what does that person get their full money back, or the company, because it sold it, has the part to?
No, the person has their full amount of the market share of the market value at that time, right? It's just because the corporation has to execute this, because you do not have the rights to sell shares, right? You just announce that you would like to sell the shares, and then the corporation would, will put that in the marketplace and get it sold. And once it's sold to any other shareholder, because it was shared internally before taking it out to any third party, and it will be shared by the class for which the share is offered. And until that class does, nobody is pursuing that share, and then you can move to the next class. But you get your full money. I don't think that anybody wants to. That's your share, and it's gonna. That's the obligation of the corporation to perform that on your behalf. Right? Are we okay? Okay, I believe Rita did get us. So
Yes, sorry, I got you. Thank you very much.
Okay, yeah. So in every organization, there's effective date and term. So once the day you sign the shareholder sign this agreement, it becomes binding, so to all the terms and conditions that are within the shareholders agreement. So that's just what it's telling us. And there must be the date and the signature for that particular agreement. And as well, there must be an address from the new shareholder who is buying his or her share. Will have to provide an address for which he or she can be reached. And even if they move, they have to update the corporation of their new address. We are seeing that with the banks. If you move, you have to update your banking information. If you move, you have to send your information to your corporation so that they can be able to send you any document that is that is yours. And when you buy your insurance, they will always read you those terms and conditions of agreement. You sign the bank credit card, they will always read that provisions for you to confirm. And it is same with ABC. And that's what we want to talk about. So all of that is part of it. So address for notice. So just for us to be able to give you notification and things like that. Whether it's email, whether it's phone, whether it's a physical address, it's important. Whether it's check they are sending is important. So severability here, we just resolve conflict between the provision of this agreement and of any governing legislation. Of course, we are a corporation in Ontario and in Canada. We shall be governed and be binded by that obligation. And if there's any conflict, like, the government has made a new rule, like we saw in COVID, the government required that people wear masks. We're not having mask rule, we have to implement, because the legislation prevails above this agreement and will be amended in order to comply with such legislation. So we saw that in this COVID time. A lot of companies had to amend their agreements to be abiding to the legislation. So the legislation is at any time on an upper hand to this agreement, and that is just understandable. Excuse me. And so the general provisions, which is all what we have here. So this agreement will not be amended or modified except by written agreement of all or a majority of the shareholders. All shareholders without the consent of the corporation may modify, amend, and rescind this agreement. So that's just a general provision, it mostly on making amendments to this agreement for the corporation. So with that said, this presentation has come to an end. So I just want to thank all of you who have attended, and the floor is now open again for question and answer or comment before we can close this presentation. Anyone has a question, a comment? It will be very nice to hear. And again, this presentation will be shared in the WhatsApp forum for those who did not attend. And we know Canada is a very busy country. And as we are here, some people at work, and a lot is going on. Some people could not attend because they are committed elsewhere. We saw in the forum, somebody was even indicating that. One Jamaican lady that happened to have called me, and that was very great. So any question or comment? Is there anything in the chat? Okay, nothing. Anyone? Okay, so if no one is coming up, and just to let everyone know, we'll be coming again in the forum or in the WhatsApp group, and to discuss the banking information, and also sharing the licensing to fully give ourselves confidence, and how we can start to do our registration, and also to fund the capital that we so desire to run ABC. Yeah, Rome was not built in a day. We have come a long way, and the movement continues. And it is the people's movement, and we hope that we can be able together as one people give Africans, Black people, the economic power that they need. Yeah. So step by step, we're getting there. So if no question, I give 1 more minute.
Yeah, if I'll look through the documents if I have questions.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so this is the official website for the ABC Corporation. I mean, official email. Any question you send there will be attended to. So it's afka360@gmail.com. 360 because it entails it entails everyone. It's not restrictive for anyone who wants to be part of it to be. Okay, or you send an email, or you talk on our WhatsApp as well, anywhere you feel comfortable. So thank you guys. I think we'll call it an end here.
All right, thank you. Bye.
Yeah, thank you. Bye-bye. Yeah.